Today, I want to talk about the TV show Arcane. Recently, Arcane Season 2 on Netflix just aired and completed its final season after only 2 seasons, and I need to talk about it. Now, as we all know, Arcane is based off of the video game League of Legends, and all of the characters are based off of the characters from the video game. Obviously, this show has created all these backstories and news stories, and to be quite honest, I don't know a lot about League of Legends. All I know is from what I've seen of Arcane. I've only played League of Legends a total of maybe like an hour or two my entire life, so I don't know a lot about that universe. All I really know is what's from Arcane. Based off of the first season of Arcane, I absolutely 100% love this show. When I watched the first season, I loved it so much that I watched it back to back to back 3 times in a row. Since there are only 9 episodes, it wasn't a lot to do. Since then, I've watched the first season at least 10, maybe 11 times. The first season aired towards the end of 2021, and it's been a few years since that season. And then the long-awaited Season 2 airs, and we find out it's going to be done after that. And there's not going to be a 3rd season. Now, as much as I love this show, I was left wanting more. The good news, as I've heard, is that they're going to be making other stuff within the universe of Riot's League of Legends. I hope they use the same characters, or at least some of them, and build off of what they've already established with Arcane, but I need to get into this in depth. Now, I'm not trying to do an entire synopsis. If you want to watch the show, go watch it. It's fantastic. I highly suggest it. I'm just trying to hint at the key points that I want to focus on to make my point on this season clear. Right off the bat, I'm going to give it a solid 9 out of 10. Which is a lot for me because I don't usually give high ratings for shows these days. So for a show that's coming out in today's time, I think that is a fantastic rating. Now, the first season for me was definitely easily a 10 out of 10. But the second season, there was a couple things that I had an issue with. First being the pacing. I feel like a lot of it was rushed because they had already decided they were going to be done after the second season. So they needed to wrap everything up in a nice little bow with a cherry on top and get things done and concluded in this second season. Now, that doesn't mean they didn't wrap it up nice. I think they wrapped it up very nice. And it's really hard for shows these days to end a show perfectly. This wasn't perfect and it wasn't the best, but it actually cleaned it up nice and I respect the end. My issue is that there was a lot of things that need to be elaborated on. Like the whole story with Victor, how he just became this techno god. It was just super weird. And I enjoyed that focus in the story and what he became, but it needed more. There was more substance that needed to be explained there, and they kind of just rushed into it and then just took a dive. Also, Jace, Echo, and Heimerdinger just went into a different dimension, different time periods, and it was rushed and crammed into one episode. I don't think it needed to take longer than a whole second episode, but it could have gone into the beginning of a second and drawn it out a little longer. Instead, they packed it jam tight into one episode, which the episodes are kind of long. They're 45 minutes, which is a pretty average time span, but it needed more. There's just a lot of stuff that they had developed and created in the first season, and it just felt very rushed. Pacing was just a little bit off, and the structure of how they put them together in these episodes was a little forced. Now, that's out of the way. That's aside. I absolutely did love this season, though, and I absolutely love this show. And if those are the only things I have gripes with, that means this show is fantastic. Now, if animated isn't your thing, you're not a real huge fan of animated shows and movies, that's fine. I would highly suggest, if you watch one animated show in your entire life, watch this one. Be aware there are more adult themes and storylines within this show, but it's well worth the watch if you're willing to get into it. I have friends that do not like animated shows and animated things, but I had them watch this show and they actually enjoyed it. So if you're looking for something that is really good, but you're hesitant on the animated aspect of it, I would consider giving it a try. At least that first season, you have to give it a try. The second season, we got to see more development with Jinx, and I knew something was going to happen at the end. I knew something was bound to happen with either her or Vi, and when she died, I was kind of not surprised. They do that with some of the villains in these TV shows. They get you attached. They make you feel for her and understand where she's coming from. And then they twist it around. They become the hero, the good guy, and then they kill him. And it really sucks. I mean, Jinx, even as a villain, I thoroughly enjoyed her character in the first season. And then they just took a whole different turn. They made her kind of like Vi's position and taking care of this little girl that's kind of her younger sister, and put her into that older sister role. And they made you feel for her and grow attached to her. And then they just snatched her away. Now, I get it. They like to take your heroes away in these shows and these movies these days. I get it. And it doesn't really bother me that much, but it still kind of hurts. Another character that took a huge character development and a huge leap forward was the character of Mel. She accelerated at a rapid rate. The snap of a finger, she became this mage witch and became the most powerful person in this show. And that also felt very accelerated and very fast-paced, pushed, and it needed to be slowed down. I want to know way more about that. I have been told by other people who have played the games a lot and know more of the backstories that she might play a different role in another show coming up. That's good. We need more about her, more of what's going on with her character, because they just threw that in there. She did a really good battle at the end, and then that was it. And we need way more elaboration on her character and her powers. The relationship between Vi and Caitlyn was very strained in this one. They were best friends and, they had a relationship at the beginning of the show. And then it kind of took a little bit of a spill in the middle because Caitlyn was out for revenge and Vi was kind of depressed by that. But then Vi and Jinx found Vander inside of this werewolf monster kind of deal. And Caitlyn decided to go back to the side of the light, basically, and join Vi and Powder and join everyone against Victor and his new army of robots. The last thing that I liked and I wanted to see more on, but they kind of just cut it short, was Victor being the mage that gave Jace the jewel in the first season. That was a huge bomb right there, that Victor has been playing a role this entire time, but in different timelines, and it was totally rushed. They needed to slow down on that, elaborate more. How is he this person? And I get it, I understood it, but it needed to be unpacked more, and it just seemed very rushed, and we needed more time in that section of the show. Other than that, again, I absolutely love this show. I have to go watch the second season over again to better understand certain things, and when you watch shows, 3 episodes here, and then the next week, and the next week in a piecemeal, you need to go back and binge it all again to understand more things and have it all be structured together. I really hope they bring more shows like this with these creators to the League of Legends TV show collection, because I absolutely loved it. They are really doing something special here. The animation, the art is amazing. The stories are written perfectly. I could not have thought of better stories for a show currently. And if you've seen my other videos, you know that I talk about all of the stinkies that shows are making and movies that are being made that just spend way too much money and make absolutely garbage shows. One show I can think about right off the top of my head is the show Acolyte on Disney+. They spent hundreds of millions on that show and it flopped. But on the other side of the coin, you spend hundreds of millions of dollars on Arcane and it's made very well. So I hope they take this as encouragement and they see that they're making a success and they keep making shows like this because it's fantastic. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe for more like this, and I'll catch you on the next one.